North American trade relations have entered a tense new era, marked by uncertainty and escalating tensions between the continent's largest economies. What was once a relatively stable and predictable partnership is now being tested in ways few could have anticipated. The spark? President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada. These tariffs targeted steel, aluminum, and a range of other products, sending shockwaves through industries on both sides of the border and raising the stakes for everyone involved. Trump even introduced a special fentanyl tariff on Mexico, aiming to pressure the Mexican government to crack down on drug trafficking. This move added a new layer of complexity to already fraught trade negotiations. Perhaps most disruptively, the electric vehicle sector was drawn into the fray, directly tying trade policy to border security and the future of green industries. The message was clear. Economic cooperation would now be linked to political demands. Trump's move, though consistent with his America First agenda, was more aggressive than most experts expected. It signaled a willingness to upend established agreements like NAFTA and its successor, the USMCA, and to rewrite the rules of engagement. In Washington, many assumed Mexico and Canada would quickly seek compromise to avoid economic pain. But Mexico, under newly elected President Claudia Sheinbaum, shocked everyone with an unexpected response. Instead of backing down, Mexico retaliated with its own tariffs, targeting key American exports like agricultural products and manufactured goods. The message was unmistakable. Mexico would not be bullied, and it was prepared to defend its interests. This bold response marked a new assertive phase in U.S.-Mexico relations, upending years of seamless, tariff-free trade and introducing a period of economic brinkmanship. Canada, meanwhile, took a more cautious approach, choosing dialogue over confrontation. Many Canadians were surprised by Mexico's defiance and their own government's restraint, unsure how the standoff would affect their economy. Across the continent, the economic foundation is now shaken. Businesses and workers face deep uncertainty, with supply chains disrupted and investment plans put on hold as leaders search for a way forward. The stage is set for a high-stakes economic showdown, with the future of North American trade hanging in the balance. To grasp this conflict, you need to understand tariffs, taxes on imports that make foreign goods pricier. Tariffs are a powerful tool in international trade, shaping the flow of goods and influencing the choices of both businesses and consumers. When a country imposes tariffs, it's not just about raising revenue. It's about sending a message and shifting the balance of power in global markets. They're often used as leverage in trade disputes, giving governments a way to pressure trading partners and protect domestic industries from foreign competition. President Trump sees tariffs as a way to protect American jobs and force renegotiation of what he calls unfair trade deals, especially with Mexico and Canada. For Trump, tariffs are more than just economic policy. They're a symbol of putting America first, a way to show strength on the world stage, and a tactic to bring manufacturing back to U.S. soil. The new tariffs were laser-focused, 50% on Canadian steel, targeting a key export and sending a clear signal to America's northern neighbor. There was also a 25% tariff on Mexican goods linked to fentanyl, aiming to pressure Mexico to crack down on the flow of illegal drugs into the U.S., and sweeping duties on electric vehicles, a fast-growing sector that's central to the future of the auto industry. Trump's message to Mexico was blunt: cooperate on border security or face economic pain. The tariffs were designed to force action, not just words. The EV tariffs, in particular, aim to force automakers to invest in U.S. factories, reshaping the future of North American manufacturing. By making imported electric vehicles more expensive, Trump hopes to spark a wave of new investment and job creation at home. But this strategy is risky. It invites retaliation, hurts American exporters, and raises prices for U.S. consumers. Trade wars can spiral, leading to job losses and economic uncertainty. Trump is betting that Mexico and Canada will suffer more and cave before the crucial 2026 USMCA review. The hope is that the economic pressure will force America's neighbors to make concessions. The gamble: bring jobs home, but risk a costly trade war that could disrupt entire industries and livelihoods across the continent. The outcome will hinge on who can withstand the most economic pain, and which country's workers and businesses can adapt to the new reality. The stakes for all three countries couldn't be higher, as the future of North American trade and millions of jobs hangs in the balance. Mexico's response stunned the Trump administration. President Scheinbaum's government hit back immediately with tariffs targeting politically sensitive U.S. exports, especially agriculture and manufacturing. The White House had expected Mexico to fold, but instead, Scheinbaum's boldness played well at home and signaled a new era of Mexican assertiveness. This wasn't just about economics, it was about national dignity and refusing to set a precedent of capitulation. The result, a true two-way trade war, with both sides feeling the pain. American farmers and manufacturers now face real consequences, increasing pressure on Trump to negotiate. Mexico's move has forced the U.S. to the table, making compromise unavoidable. The dynamic has shifted, no longer just American pressure, but a standoff with real costs on both sides. The gamble has already changed the conflict's trajectory. While Mexico fought back, Canada's response under new Prime Minister Mark Carney was unexpectedly restrained. Carney, elected on a tough elbows-up platform, instead dropped Canada's retaliatory tariffs, hoping to de-escalate and revive talks. This move sparked outrage at home, with many Canadians seeing it as capitulation, especially as Mexico stood firm. The contrast left Canadians questioning their government's resolve and leadership. Critics argue that by not joining Mexico in immediate retaliation, Canada weakened its bargaining position. Carney now faces mounting pressure to prove that quiet diplomacy can deliver results in the face of American aggression. The public's disbelief is palpable, as they watch Mexico take the lead in confronting Trump's tariffs. The political stakes for Carney are rising fast. At the core of this trade war is the electric vehicle, or EV, a symbol of the future of North American manufacturing. EVs represent not just a technological shift, but a fundamental transformation in how the continent builds, powers, and moves its people and goods. The race to dominate this industry is about more than just cars, it's about securing a foothold in the next era of global industry. For decades, auto parts have crossed borders seamlessly, making the continent a global powerhouse. This tightly woven network has allowed North America to compete with the world, with each country specializing in different stages of production. The result has been millions of jobs in a thriving automotive sector that stretches from Ontario to Michigan to northern Mexico. Trump's EV tariffs threaten to unravel this system, aiming to force automakers to build new factories in the U.S. The goal is to bring more manufacturing jobs back to American soil, but the consequences could ripple far beyond U.S. borders. The global shift to electric power means billions in investment and thousands of jobs are at stake. Battery plants, charging infrastructure, and research centers are all part of this new industrial ecosystem, and every country wants a piece of the action. But disrupting the integrated supply chain could backfire, making North American EVs too expensive and less competitive globally. Higher costs could slow down adoption, threaten existing jobs, and even push automakers to look elsewhere for cheaper production. Canada and Mexico have invested heavily in EV plants, and these tariffs put their future at risk. Their economies are deeply tied to the auto industry, and any shock to the system could have lasting effects on workers and communities. The fight isn't just about current trade, it's about who will lead the next industrial revolution. Innovation, investment, and skilled labor are all on the line, and the decisions made now will echo for generations. The outcome will shape the continent's economic landscape for decades. The choices facing North America will determine whether it remains a leader in automotive innovation or falls behind in the global race. The EV sector is now the main battleground in a struggle for industrial dominance. Every new model, every battery breakthrough, and every policy decision is a move in this high-stakes game. The stakes, control over the future of manufacturing in North America, have never been higher. The decisions made today will decide who shapes the next chapter of the continent's industrial story. The leaders' words are shaping this conflict as much as their policies. Trump is blunt. He frames tariffs as a way to restore American jobs and threatens even harsher measures if Mexico and Canada don't yield. Scheinbaum, while firm in action, stresses dialogue and mutual respect, insisting Mexico won't be intimidated. Carney warns that U.S. protectionism will hurt everyone, but his calls for partnership are criticized as too soft. These contrasting styles reflect deeper philosophies: Trump's zero-sum approach, Scheinbaum's strategic defiance, and Carney's multilateralism. Their rhetoric is more than posturing, it's the public face of a battle for North America's economic future. The world is watching as these leaders set the tone for what comes next. In a dramatic turn, Canada and Mexico have joined forces against U.S. tariffs. Prime Minister Carney's visit to Mexico City signaled a new era of solidarity, with both leaders vowing not to be divided by Washington. Their alliance is a strategic move ahead of the 2026 USMCA review, strengthening their bargaining power. By coordinating, they prevent Trump from playing one country against the other. The partnership marks a shift from the old hub-and-spoke model, forging a direct link between Canada and Mexico. With billions in trade at stake, their united front is a powerful message to the U.S. This new alliance could reshape North American power dynamics for years to come. Together, they're betting that unity is their best defense. What does this trade war mean for ordinary people? Prices are already rising, tariffs are taxes, and consumers pay the bill. Everyday goods from cars to groceries are getting more expensive as supply chains are disrupted. Jobs are at risk too. Factories depend on cross-border parts, and higher costs could mean layoffs or delayed investments. The USMCA's 2026 review now looms over the continent, with this conflict setting a tense stage for negotiations. If unresolved, the trade war could unravel decades of economic integration, threatening jobs and growth across North America. The future depends on whether leaders can find a diplomatic solution or let the conflict spiral. The choices made now will shape the economic fate of millions. The stakes are personal: your wallet, your job, your future. North America's next chapter is being written right now.